Hey, Tobias here, and today I want to talk about what I've learned over 16 years as an entrepreneur. I want to give you some of the wisdom that I acquired to hopefully help you in not making some of the mistakes that I think I've made, but also just to reflect on, what it all means to you. And so I'm going to give you three or four kind of meta level ideas. I mean, obviously I could talk about this for hours. It's been such a passion of mine, and I'm sure it is for you as well. So the first wisdom that I want to give you, in my humble opinion, is you need to protect the entrepreneurial spirit at all costs. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you and I, assuming you're an entrepreneur, regardless of where you are on your journey, there is such a thing as the entrepreneurial spirit. We are wired differently, and most people around us don't get us. They will never get us. They talk about work-life balance as if that's a thing for us. As entrepreneurs, I think we think of entrepreneurship as just one thing. It's like oxygen. We breathe this air called entrepreneurship, and don't you come and tell me that I need to split between entrepreneurship as if it's a job or a career where it's actually my life. And people around me have always tried to do that, to give me advice. They've been thinking of me as this kind of slightly reckless, rebellious, big dreamer, big spender, naive optimist or dreamer very often. And at the same time, I've been thinking about these people giving me all this advice as average people living slightly boring lives. And I know that's a bit condescending. And what I've learned is I've been a bit condescending. My attitude has been not great, and so have their attitude towards me. And I'm talking about people who are like close family and friends. What I've learned is we're a different kind of breed. It's okay. They can have all those opinions, and a lot of those people mean well. Not all of them do. But I am who I am. I want to protect my entrepreneurial spirit, because that's the source from which I extract the motivation, the optimism, and that's really from which I believe all this creativity and all the greatness that you have within you, where it emanates. And don't let anyone kill that spirit. Sure, we might have ideas that are slightly naive or too big and so forth, but don't let somebody who's not an entrepreneur or does not have the entrepreneurial spirit squash that within you. Because you have a vision, you have an idea, you're in a different energy. There's no way they can understand you because they're in a different energy, they have a different set of values, they're a different breed. So that's number one. I think that's kind of a foundational idea. The second idea, the second piece of wisdom, the second thing I've learned is that it's worth designing your business to create a great life and not the other way around. So when I started, I was like 32, I think when I started, 31 or 32. And this entrepreneurship thing that I had in me all my life, it became kind of this thing where the business became number one. And I was all about the business, and I kind of gave up on a lot of things. I sacrificed a lot of things when it came to my life, my friendships, my best relationships. I didn't go and hang out with my friends. I was always working. I think I put in almost like twice the amount of hours into those years, the first 7 to 8, 9 years of me being an entrepreneur. And so even though it was great in many respects, I had so many great experiences, things I wouldn't trade. But if I had to do something differently, and if I had a chance to speak to my younger self, I would say, be very careful about setting these goals and being so driven that you forget that you're supposed to live a great life. Because it's so easy to get into this mode of thinking that when I have the money, when I have, whatever it is, you believe that then you are entitled to be fulfilled or happy and so forth. But it's not really how it goes. Like, I can say that now that I'm approaching 50, which is weird. I feel like I'm 28, but the truth is I'm 48. And what I've seen happen in my life is it's like 10 years of my life that went by so quickly. I had 2 amazing daughters who I love dearly, and luckily I have great relationships with them. They're 13 and 10 today. I was present, but I was absent-minded, and I was working like crazy, like a maniac, including on our vacations and things like that. And I feel really bad about that. Luckily, I wasn't traveling a lot, so I know it's like not the worst kind. But as I had children, it really kind of woke. I guess I was born in a new way, let's say, because I had so much more ego when I was younger. It was all about what I could achieve and building like the most amazing brand consultancy, and I was going to do this and that. I did a lot of great things that I'm super proud of. Like I had my success. I didn't build the greatest brand consultancy in the world, but it was great. It was great. And my point is that it was very self-centered in terms of goals. And I put my life aside. Sure, I've done a lot of great stuff over all those years. I'm not trying to be like overly dramatic about it, but I'm trying to just sort of give you the insight that I had and for you to reflect on, which is your life is going to go a lot faster than you think. And if you don't build your business based on the goals that you have for yourself, for your family, for your friends, the kind of life that you want, you're going to miss out. I think that's a huge mistake that people make. And so as I transitioned away from running a highly stressful project organization where every month I started at least 100,000 in the reds, so having 15, 20 staff, having to pay all salaries and things, I transitioned into this online-based, much lighter, much more leveraged model. You know, things in my life has just been so much easier in so many ways. I was able to move to Florida for a couple of years with my family, which just came back, and put them into great private schools, and we made all these amazing trips, and we had amazing experiences. And it cost a lot of money, more than $500,000, actually quite a lot more, just doing that. And I say that to kind of segue into my third point, which is money is really important. Money is really important. I've said it. And a lot of people don't like to talk about money, and they think if you talk about money, you're kind of superficial and this and that. I disagree. Because some of the biggest problems that people have, either whether we're talking relationships or business, is money. It's paying bills. It's being able to afford the luxury of living the life that you want. So now at this point in my life, I'm all about, make a great living so you can have a great life. Why choose to pursue something that is going to rob you of your best years when you can have a business model that gives you the freedom, the time, the money, the lifestyle? And again, I want to be very clear about this, because I'm not saying lower your standards, lower your goals. I'm saying be smart about it. I'm still extremely ambitious. I have huge goals. I'm still that dreamer, and things that people can make fun of me. I still have all that in me. I'm never letting go of that, whatever somebody tells me. The point I'm making is be smart about your business in the way that it gives you enough money, in other words, oxygen, so that you can live the way you want to, so that you can live life now. Because at some point, we're not going to have the energy that we have now, and I'm hoping you have a lot of energy. So that's a really, really important thing, to build a business that provides cash flow. And there are so many models that you could apply to do that. As I'm recording this, I'm promoting the accelerator, which is part of Original Minds, and that's one way in which we're helping people get to 30K a month, which for a lot of people who are solopreneurs think it's almost impossible, but it's not. It's super simple. It's hard, but it's not difficult in terms of the complexity. And people have very low goals. They're like, I want to make 5K a month. I want to make 10K a month or 15. I'm not talking about the entrepreneurs now who are building bigger businesses. And I'm always like, really? What kind of life are you going to live off that? And I know, some people might go oh, elitist, snob, privileged, whatever, and go for it. In the comments, you can do that. But I will defend myself and say, hey, I'm here to live a rich life, And I mean rich in experiences, in adventures, in relationships and that. And in this, especially in the Western society, it takes money to live a great life. It's just the way it is. I mean, unless you're happy in a forest, in a small hut, I applaud you. Great. Not for me. Not as the guy, with a family. I need cash. I need cash flow. And that's why, for me, designing my business to produce cash flow is very, very important. So on to my last point, because otherwise it's going to be way too long. Fulfillment, happiness will come from growth, from progress. And I mean both your growth and progress and from the people that you serve, with emphasis on the latter. What makes me the happiest is when I see the people I work with, when they have breakthroughs, when they make progress, when their lives change, when their lives transform. I obviously want those things for myself as well. It's a byproduct of making other people happy and fulfilled and improving their lives. This is especially important for people like us who are working in professional services and service businesses, where our whole existence is predicated on how well we're serving other people. You have to love it. And if you are in this only for the money, it's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. You're not going to make it very long. So money is very important, like I said, but what is going to generate the money and the fulfillment and the impact that you want is serving other people. And so I think the most important thing is to find the thing that lights you up inside and then keep getting better at it. Seek mastery at all costs. Just become better at what you do. That is the most fulfilling thing that I find about entrepreneurship. For some people, for most entrepreneurs, it's about creativity. I don't mean that in terms of being great at drawing or designing. I mean in terms of creating stuff that other people can enjoy and can improve their lives through. That for me is really why I do what I do. There are other ways to make money. Some of them are actually probably easier. For me, entrepreneurship is not a choice. Entrepreneurship chose me. I didn't choose entrepreneurship. It chose me. And I bet if you're like me, you're the same. So I want to end there because I know otherwise it's going to be way too long, and I'm sure I'll create some more content around this. But I hope it gives you something to reflect on, because life goes by a lot quicker, at least than I thought when I was in my early 30s. And I don't want people to make the mistake of just grinding and suffering because they have a business that doesn't really work. There are smarter business models. There are easier ways to go about what you might be doing right now. There are ways that you can save months, if not years, if you really know what you're doing. And one of my core principles and approaches to everything is simplicity. And that's essentially about figuring out the things not to do. When I work with clients, I try not to add more things to do. Well, often people need to do more of what's already working, but usually people are doing 4, 5, 6 to 10 times more different things that they need to when they need to actually figure out the 1 or 2 or 3 things that really work and do more of those things. Building a successful business is not complex. It's actually simple. It's hard, but it's simple. And so if you want to explore ways of working with me, you can do that by sending me an email to hello@originminds.co. I have a bunch of options. We have the collective. I have an accelerator for helping you get from 0 to 30. You can work with me privately, especially if you have an agency or professional service firm and you want to accelerate your growth. You can do that too. But at the end of the day, I want you to make a great living and live a great life. That's the journey that I am on. And I hope that you don't go put those blinders on and waste 5, 10, 15 years chasing something that you might realize wasn't the right thing after all. Anyways, hope that gave you something to think about, and reach out if I can help you with anything related to this. Thank you very much.